Hello, everyone. For those of you I haven't met yet, my name's Peter, and I have the honour and privilege of being that guy's best man. Firstly, I just wanted to say, I'm sure everyone in the room will agree that Carla, you look absolutely sensational. Also, the bridesmaids, you all look fantastic, and the bachelors, you look all right. A few of the topics I'm going to cover over the next hour include kissing girls, tears, balls being out in tennis, Viagra, and sleeping with cows. So I hope you're all sitting really comfy. It's such an honour to be asked by Adam, or Kaz, as I've always called him, to be his best man. So thank you, mate. I've wanted an opportunity to tell everyone what you're really like for years. And also, he actually promised me that if I do a good job, I will be best man at the next one too. I first met Adam when we were about 3 years old in primary school. He lived about 5 houses down from me at the time, so we did see quite a lot of each other. That's changed a little bit recently, hasn't it? Coincidentally, another good friend of mine moved to New Zealand a few years ago, so I've noticed a lot of my friends like to travel very far away. We were into the same sort of things growing up. Football, getting out on the bikes, camping, drinking, and being terrible with girls. Emma Bailey was his first kiss. And I saw a picture of her recently. She's lost all the weight and learnt to shave. So she's probably a strong 3 out of 10 now. I feel so terrible. Sorry, mate. We were both in the school football team, and Adam was a cross between David Beckham and Paul Scholes. He was just like David Beckham because he used his right foot, and just like Paul Scholes because he's ginger. Sorry, strawberry blonde. We were fairly innocent for a year or two of high school. In a way, we were in our own little bubble. An example of Kaz's innocence was when he came into our form class, sat down, and got his pen from his pencil case. In case any of you are unaware, Adam's dad Mark is a doctor, and so medically branded pens were very often found around the house. And as became apparent rather quickly, Adam had picked up one of these medically branded pens. Which brand was it, I hear you ask? Paracetamol. Ibuprofen. It was Viagra. I did point it out, but he was oblivious, so I just left it. Just leave it. Our one big fallout occurred when we were on holiday together. We played a game of tennis where there had to be an element of trust. On this occasion, there was a disagreement. So cycling back to the chalet afterwards, side by side, arguing whether the ball was in or out, my bike accidentally, Kaz, collided with yours. He fell off his bike and hit his head on the concrete floor. You can all see his head, so you can imagine the damage he did to the floor. I still protest to this day that it was in fact an accident, but your ball was in. A lot of the stories from our youth that I thought of when writing this speech involve balls. Well, my next story, depending on how you look at it, involves a lack of balls. I went with the Carey family to Blackpool for a couple of nights around the age of 12. Kaz and I quickly found the games room. It had football machines, a ping pong table, and a snooker table. We were playing on one of the football machines when a group of kids about our age came in and started playing ping pong. They got bored of hitting the balls at each other, so turned their attention to hitting the balls at the back of our heads. Now what do you think we did? The first option was that we clenched our fists, spun around and said, "You do that again and there's going to be tears." Or the second option, which also involves tears, which is we completely ignored them and carried on allowing them to use our heads as target practice. You're right, we chose the second option. Luckily, our money ran out and we calmly left the room before they started playing snooker. The story of how Kaz and Carla met is very much a modern day love story, and I strongly believe that everyone in their lifetime has their one true love, that special person who means more to them than anything in the world, and Kaz and Carla's is the same person, Cristiano Ronaldo. But would you believe how perfect a couple these two are? The first time I met Carla was the 30th of August 2006, and I remember this clearly as it just so happens to be the day that my wife and I were on our way home from hospital with our first child, Tilly. So first up, after leaving hospital, still exhausted from childbirth, and with my wife in the back seat too, was to see Kaz. And I think that says a lot about how much our friendship means to me. More recently, I was lucky to spend time with them both during their period in Britain, and instantly, having met Carla, I felt at ease and so relaxed in her company. She's a real pleasure to be around, and it's testament to how well she's been brought up by Joe and Carmen. So congratulations to you both. Andrea and Mark, you tried your best. And somehow, he's turned out to be the great guy that he is today. So congratulations to you both too. It was also great that my wife Tasha got along so well and so quickly with Carla, as it freed us up to get up to our usual antics. It was 2014, Tasha and I drove to Leeds. I dropped her there with Carla, and then we headed up for the Great North Run in Newcastle, one of the biggest running events in the UK. We got there with our tent, parked up, went for a beer, and then a few more beers, and some food, and then a few more beers, until we were staggering out of the pub with our tent and sleeping bags, looking for somewhere to sleep. We woke up the next morning in a huge field, surrounded by mooing cows, our heads banging, and with 13 miles of running to look forward to. But we did it, didn't we, mate? And we even remembered the poles for the tent, which normally isn't one of your strong points, is it? And we also deducted 30 minutes from our actual finish time. Mark and Andrea, how are you finding the alcohol out here? I'll shed some light on that question for you both now. Kaz, me and Finch were camping in your garden, and as standard, we went to the pantry to get ourselves some alcohol. As usual, we topped up the bottles with water so you wouldn't notice. I recently found out over the last week that George did the same during his teen years, and likewise with Bea and Amelia. So you've pretty much been drinking water with mixers for the last 15 years. Growing up as a friend of the Carey family, and since Adam moved to South Africa, I've not seen them all as much as I'd like. So I just want to say how lovely it's been to spend time with them out here and see what great adults George, Amelia and Bea have all grown into. I know your big brother is incredibly proud of you all. And Dwight, having heard a lot about you from Adam and Carla, it's been great getting to know you and your family. And without your massive input into the stag, it wouldn't have been the success it was. So thank you, mate. Now this part of the speech is the man cry bit, I think, but I'll try not to. It's the cheesy bit, but also the most important. I've written and crossed out and then written again so many times I can't tell you. I want it to be perfect and describe this guy fittingly, but it's no easy task. However, this is my best draft, so bear with me. No speech can really tell you all here what this guy means to me. He's always been there for me through good times and bad, and I like to think he's felt the same about me. We could not see each other for years or for hours, but when we do catch up, we always take off right where we left off. He's a role model of a friend, and I'm very proud to call him my best mate. I'm so pleased that he met someone in Carla who brings out the very best in him. And I can say, because I've known him so long, that I've never seen him as happy in any situation or with anyone than when he's with Carla. And that is true love. I love you both very much, and congratulations. It's now a great pleasure if I could get you all to raise your glasses for a toast to Kaz and Carla. Thank you.